Oh yeah, I had it open here. I think I just wanted to, yeah, I tried to pull some air in. Because I think there's a
Thank you all for coming for this Sunday wonderful love feast. Is anyone here come for the first time? So we'll have our Sunday speaker. He's not here, Veda. He's will be giving class today. He'll be speaking about Vaishnava's heart, how broad it is. And then after the class is over, we're going to have more kirtan. And then we're going to have also mini arati for the Sunday sponsor. And then there will be more announcement. And then we'll have Mahaprasad for everyone. How many of you came for the Super Saturday yesterday? Only one I see. It was beautiful. Just a lot of devotees came. It was a nice feast. A lot of devotees who were here. And they glorified the Prabhupada. They heard Prabhupada. It was very wonderful. So generally, Prabhupada has given this Sunday feast to us so that we can get together and hear. And actually, it's called Vaisnava Association. Noon time I was giving a little class and there were some devotees here. So Prabhupada there was a song which was sung by Narottam Das Thakur. In that song, Narottam Das Thakur is saying that how important it is the Sangha of a Vaishnava. Because without Vaishnava Sangha, you cannot develop Krishna Bhakti. It is only done through this Sadhu Sangha. That's why it's very important. So, Prabhupada gave us this Sunday feast so that we can get together and we can associate with Vaishnava, hear, chant and take Mahaprasad. And also make relationship with Vaishnava. So it's a very wonderful part of a devotee's life that you can have association with devotees and you get to hear Krishna and in this you develop Krishna. So if anyone has children, there's a Sunday school going on in the basement. So you can take your children there. I think Kamalakshmi Mataji is there and Ujjeshwari Mataji. They'll help you to attend the Sunday class. So any children from 5 years even below can go there. How old is it? 4. Yeah, he can go there. It's wonderful. They have some others going to help them. So we'll have Sunday lecture, then after the Sunday lecture we'll have Arati. We'll have Kirtan, Arati, then there will be Mahaprasad for everyone, okay? Hare Krishna.
Raise your hand. What's your name? Keon. Let's welcome Keon to the temple, everyone. Are you in school? Done with school? No, I'm here. Amazing. Thank you for coming. Yes. Hare Krishna. Anyone else here for the very first time? Anyone here for the second time? Okay. Thank you. So this is a very beautiful song that we're going to sing. Were you able to find that song on your Google? Yes? This is a song by a great saint named Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Just a little background on him. Who knows this great saint? Raise your hand if you know him. Raise your hand if you don't know him. Raise your hand if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Thank you. So I'll share with you just a little background. This tradition of bhakti that we practice, it's a very ancient tradition that was orally transmitted from the teacher to the student. And the transmission of that knowledge was actually a transmission of love from one heart, the teacher's heart, to the student's heart. So traditionally speaking, knowledge was not a transmission of information, but it was a transmission of spiritual emotion. And that's what bhakti is all about. How to capture the transcendental emotion that the teachers are experiencing in their relationship to God. So this saint, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he is considered to be the 7th sage of Vrindavan, although he lived in Mayapur. And see everyone, they already found the song. They already found the song. So he was an incredible, prolific writer. In addition to working for the British government, who governed India for about 200 years, he was considered to be, in India they call it district magistrate, which means the person that governs the state, the affairs of the district. And his consciousness was so clear, such clarity, that he had 8 hours of work was done in 2 hours. Because when you practice bhakti, when you have clear conscience and the heart is vacant of impurities and preconceived notions, then things become very easy to accomplish in life. So he was extremely revered by everyone in the British government, that they had made a personal train tracks for him to go from his home to his office. That's how cool he was, efficient he was. I can't think of any current bosses in the world that will provide you a personal train line for you from your home to your office. So just think about his capability, materially speaking, that they would even do that for him. The government itself, they governed India. The government of India at that time, run by the British, decided that he was so efficient, that he was so valuable, that we will build him a personal train track that can take him from his home to his office. So this is Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So other than working for 2 hours, managing the affairs of the district, what did he do? He dove deep into the studies of bhakti, the studies of understanding how Krishna is the supreme reservoir of love. And so we will sing one song, and you may be able to experience his humility, you may be able to experience his emotions through his songs, because today's topic is the heart of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava means someone who worships Krishna, someone who worships God. What does the heart look like, feels like, taste like, smell like? So we'll get to get a little glimpse into it. So everyone has the song. We'll do a melody, not so difficult. We have Kartik Prabhu who will keep us on beat. Gopina Mama Nivedana Shuna Gopina Mama Nivedana Shuna Vishaya Gurjana Sadakamarabha Kichu nahi mora guna Vishaya Gurjana Sadakamarabha Kichu nahi mora Gopina Amara Gopina Amara Tomara charana Vayu sharana Tomara Gopina Kemane Sodhi More Gopina Kemane Sodhi More Gopina Rajani Bhagavati Kole Jaramati Korechi Samsara Rajani Bhagavati Kole Jaramati Korechi Samsara Gopina Sakale Tomara Maya Gopina Nirmala Krishna temple, right? I'm not so good with technology, but let's look. It works. Okay, it's working. So I want to tell you a story because a very important part of life in general is to understand the intent behind an action. Because the content that comes out, it can be very deceiving, it can be difficult to understand, sometimes it can be confusing also. So, this bhakti is the practice of intention. It's not as much as the content itself, as much as what is the intention behind the act. So, this is why I was meditating on this topic. I have been fortunate to be practicing bhakti for about 43 years of my life. And a lot of mechanical rituals, mechanical motions, really mechanical, just my body, the mechanics are doing things. And not much heart was invested in the practice. And as a result, even after 43 years of practicing bhakti, I'm still aspiring to taste the nectar of what real bhakti is. So I just want to warn you, this is a long, lengthy process of bhakti. And sometimes it can be a little tedious and a little challenging, but very sweet. So the story that I want to share is about this great sage named Durvasa Muni. He was known to be a very fiery personality. Who knows the body type in Ayurveda? Has Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So which one is the fire? Pitta. So he had a lot of fire in him. And there was very little room for error when it came to dealing with him or serving him in any way. So I'm going to cut the story short because I want to cover this principle. So, Ambarish Maharaj was on a fast, this great king. He was doing a spiritual fast on Ekadasi. And when you do this spiritual fast, there are certain rules you have to follow. Just like nowadays, intermittent fasting is very popular because it helps to give your organs a little break and detox the body. So they have certain protocols you follow. So Ekadasi fasting also has certain rules. There is a specific time that you must break your fast, and sometimes the windows are very big, and sometimes the window to break that fast is very small. It is based on some planetary astrological calculations. And when you break your fast at the right time, then you get full benefit of this Ekadasi fast, because it's a spiritual fast. And so, Ambarish Maharaj was a little puzzled because the clock was ticking, time was running out. And the sages that were visiting him hasn't arrived after a bath for their meals yet. And it is a tradition in Vaishnavism that when a guest comes to your house, you must feed them before you eat. Otherwise, what happens is there's no benefit. Benefit is taken out of the equation because you're supposed to treat them like an Aditi Devo Bhava, that they're considered to be divine beings coming to your house. So Ambarish Maharaj consulted his ministers because of this dilemma. What do I do in this situation? The clock is ticking and the window to break this fast is passing by. After consulting the saints, it was concluded that he should just drink some charanamrit, just drink some sanctified water, and that will be considered to be breaking his fast. So he did that. And then immediately the sage arrives, very upset that how dare as a host you eat before me or you drink before me. So, very offended by the king's behavior, the sage immediately cursed him. And he used something called a sudarshan. He has a chakra. Everyone has a weapon. In America we carry guns or knives or whatever. So the sage had this chakra that he invoked, and he threw this weapon at Ambarish Maharaj to teach him a lesson. And Ambarish Maharaj was a king who was a Rajarishi. That means he was a saintly king. Every minute of his time was dedicated to service. Every limb in his body, every sensory faculties in his possession was fully engaged in the service of Krishna. It explains, Savai mana Krishna padara viddayor vachansi vaikunta gunana varnana. In that verse it explains how his mouth was engaged in glorifying the Lord, his hands were engaged in cleaning the temples, and his feet were engaged in taking pilgrimages. So basically his life was fully dedicated in his deepest execution of devotional service. So Ambarish Maharaj received this curse, this chakra from the sage, with utter humility. Because when you practice spiritual life, the indicator, the symptom of someone who's practicing spiritual life, you gauge it by their level of humility. That is one metric where you can gauge if they're practicing spiritual life or not. And he demonstrated this utter humility, and he received this punishment from the sage. But someone else didn't receive it very well. And that was Krishna, the Lord of his heart. He did not take this very well. So he immediately sent his Sudarshan Chakra to protect Ambarish Maharaj. You must keep in mind this principle of surrender is such that doesn't matter who it is, if you surrender to someone, what you're doing is you are touching the most sensitive part of another person. They naturally become soft and kind towards you. Even the most cruel person will become soft and kind if you learn the art of proper surrender. This is the power. And so, Ambarish Maharaj had this highest level of Sharanagati, surrender, that Krishna had no other option. He was immediately, he could feel this Durvasa's rage upon his devotee, and he protected by sending a Sudarshan Chakra. And his Sudarshan Chakra countered the chakra of Durvasa Muni, the fireball of Durvasa Muni, and started to chase this sage, Sudarshan Chakra, started to chase Durvasa Muni and punish him for offending someone that was so fully surrendered to Krishna. And this sage, due to his mystical powers, was able to move at the speed of the mind from different corners of the universe. He was looking for relief, some shelter. Ambarish Maharaj has shelter. He has taken shelter. Durvasa is now looking for shelter. So when we're looking for shelter, what do we find? We try to find somebody who's powerful. So he goes to Shiva, he goes to Brahma, and he goes to Vishnu. And he says, please help me. No one could help me. So you're the one that can help me. So I want to read with you what the Srimad Bhagavatam says about this verse, and you can repeat after me. Sadhavo hridayam mahyam
Sadhavo hridayam mahyam
sadhunam hridayam tvaham
Sadhanam hridayam tvayam
madanyate na jananti
Madanyate jananti
naham tebhyo managapi.
Nam tebhyo managati.
This is the response that Vishnu gives to Maharaj Ambarish. The sadhus are my heart and I am theirs. They do not know anything other than me, and I do not know anyone but them. It's a very powerful statement that Vishnu is making. I am not independent. I dwell in the hearts of my devotee. And you must go and seek forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj himself. So, here we are noticing that even the Lord, who is the creator of the universe, everything emanates from Him. The all-powerful, almighty becomes completely helpless. Helpless to protect anyone that offends and hurts His devotees. Because the love is so intense between the Lord and the devotees. It's so intense that the love makes someone powerless. That is why you'll notice bhakti, one of the qualities of bhakti is rarely achieved. Because if you get bhakti, what that literally means is Krishna has agreed to become your servant and your protector and your gatekeeper. So it's very difficult. That's why bhakti is extremely rare. I'll tell you a little side story. You heard of the story of Sudama Brahmana. There was a very poverty-stricken, externally, saintly Brahmana, saintly sage. And his house was barely 4 sticks on the ground. His roof had so many holes that the more water would fall through his ceiling from his roof, then it would fall out. His walls had nothing. The wind basically was covered by the layers of the 4 directions. And that was the extent of his renunciation. Someone asked this question, why those that worship Krishna are so poor, so poverty-stricken? And it explains, the sages, our acharyas are explaining, that Sudama Brahmana prayed to Krishna, please protect me from any distractions. Please be with me and shelter me from any material distractions, any opulences. So the Lord himself stayed as a guard to this cottage of Sudama, so that Lakshmi Devi was not allowed to enter his cottage, just so that he could protect the devotion of Sudama. This is what God does. In whatever way we pray, He is always there. I'll give you another side note. It's not in my notes, but now I'm feeling. I just want to share whatever is in my heart. I see in the instance of Queen Kunti Devi, she is very dear to my heart for one reason, because her level of surrender is extremely deep, because we're talking about surrender and what is in her heart. Imagine being a child, you're born, and you're taken away from your mother's breasts and given away in adoption to someone else. That is Kunti Devi's life. Age 14, she has a child, and she has to give up this child, put this child in a basket and float her down the river. She has children that were not hers, Madri's 2 children, and she raised them as her own. Single mother to 5 children, while everybody in the world is trying to kill her and have her whole family destroyed by poisoning them, burning down their homes. And what does she pray? She does not pray, Krishna, please kill these destroyers, remove my enemies. She doesn't pray for anything. She simply prays, Krishna, please give me more calamities and more suffering. And then, as a child, I'm thinking that she must be crazy. Because as a kid, you can't make sense of all these things. Because why would someone pray for more suffering and pain when everyone is already trying to kill you? You're a single mom with 5 kids. You don't have a place to stay, you're homeless. And yet you're praying for more suffering and more struggles. So when you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, when you study it, you'll notice there is something very unique about her. She is actually experiencing the presence of Krishna. Because every moment that she's going through this calamity, she's not asking Krishna to protect her. Krishna is just being present with her. Krishna does not have a choice. He is helpless. Krishna is helpless by the devotion of Queen Kunti Devi, that she is staying with Krishna and the 5 Pandavas. And what else do you want if you have Krishna? So this is the level of surrender and what is really in the heart of Queen Kunti Devi. She does not pray for protection. She does not pray for shelter. She does not pray for possessions. She does not pray for a house, an army, a kingdom. Nothing. Because she has Krishna. Krishna is bound by the love that Kunti carries in her heart, that Krishna is present in every moment of their life, and she can feel it. And so much so, she's saying, give me more pain and suffering. Why? Because I know they're going to be there with me. So this is This is the power of the heart of a devotee, that all there is Krishna. And Krishna becomes helplessly bound. There is so much to share, but I want to share one more story. This is a story of Haridas Thakur. Maybe I should tell you a few more shlokas because maybe you would like to remember the shlokas from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 156. Shevaka Shei Amar Jahara Nahika Pran Ami Shevaka Vatsalam More Kare Dhyan. He who is my servant, who has no other life but me, he is mine, and I am the lover of my servants, and I constantly meditate on them. I mean, it's pretty wild. Krishna, if you want to know what he's meditating on you. And that's so good to know. If someone asks you, what are you meditating on? You may express whatever it is you're meditating on. But if you know what Krishna is meditating on, Krishna is meditating on his devotees. And there is a story that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Jagannath Puri, due to the caste system in India at that time, Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family. And he was not allowed to enter the Jagannath Puri temple because he was born in a Muslim family. So the Muslim community in India had rejected him. Imagine your society, your community rejects you. One thing is when you're rejected by your lover. Another is when you're rejected by the family. Imagine when you're rejected by the whole community. That means there is no shelter. The whole community rejects you. And then the Hindu community, because he is a Muslim, they also reject him. So the whole of India, the Muslims and the Hindus, everybody rejects Haridas Thakur. This is his story, Chaitanya Charitamrita. What happens? When you have nobody in this world, is there anybody in this world who can say they have nobody in this world? No one can say that. Because there's always somebody for us. Haridas Thakur is rejected by everyone. No one. So what did Haridas Thakur do? He just wanted to be close to where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, so Haridas Thakur stayed far away from the temple of Jagannath Mandir in Jagannath Puri. And he would just sit in the middle of the field in the scorching hot sun in India. And he would just sit there and do his meditation, japa. He would sit and he would chant 4,400,000 names of Krishna. And such deep was his meditation that whatever happened to his body, he was so oblivious to it. You know, now we block everything off, we're completely immersed. Imagine Haridas Thakur was so immersed that he couldn't feel the heat. He didn't have an ashram. He was just sitting and just doing his japa every day. And every single day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every single day after taking darshan in the temple of Jagannath Mandir, he would make a personal visit to Haridas Thakur. Personal visit. And one day he notices Haridas Thakur is meditating under this tree and his skin is burning and peeling off from the heat. So he brought the toothbrush from Lord Jagannath. You may not understand what is a toothbrush because your idea of a toothbrush is this very fancy oral beam. You brush your teeth, fancy plastic toothbrush. Those days they used toothbrush from the trees. When I grew up, we also didn't get toothbrushes. We got a neem twig every morning in this big. And you chew on one side and it becomes like the little bristles on a toothbrush. And then you can brush your teeth. So he brought one of the twigs from Lord Jagannath. It's called the bokul, one tree called bokul tree. It's a very beautiful, fragrant, small flower that looks like a star. So he brought this twig and he planted it right next to Haridas Thakur. And this tree immediately grew into this beautiful, luscious leaves and trees and flowers. And immediately Haridas Thakur was sheltered. And this is what God does. He cannot bear the suffering of his devotees because the devotees are carrying him in his heart. And if at any point in your heart there is pain, who is feeling the pain? When Haridas Thakur is beaten in 22 marketplaces, he didn't feel an ounce of pain. No pain. So much so, in his body, imagine a frail body tied behind an army of horses and chariots, and they're dragging him through 22 marketplaces. That means 22 cities and towns where they have markets, and they're dragging his frail body. His hands or feet tied, and they're dragging his frail body, and those roads are not made of asphalt. Rocks and thorns, and his body is being dragged. Jesus got the crown of thorns, right, on his head. Haridas Thakur's body is being covered in thorns and smashed against the rocks. And he doesn't stop chanting. And finally, he notices his tormentors, that they are struggling. Their hands are getting calluses from whipping him. And they're perspiring and they're fatigued. So he reaches out to soothe them. Who soothes your tormentors? You want to kill them. But Haridas Thakur is reaching out to try and soothe the pain of his tormentors. So therefore, this is an example of what is Haridas Thakur carrying in his heart. Thank you, Rita. The love is so intense between the Lord and his devotees that Haridas Thakur was getting old. Mahaprabhu used to come and see him every day. Haridas, you must cut down on your number of japa. If someone tells me you don't have to chant japa, I feel so happy, so ecstatic. They can, if my guru tells me I don't have to chant japa anymore, I feel what a relief. Haridas Thakur is not feeling the relief, he's feeling the ecstasy. Because every time he chants, Krishna is dancing with him. So, when he's about to depart this world, Mahaprabhu comes to see him and he looks at Mahaprabhu's face. And what a way, what joy that he was feeling. And he says, okay, this is it, this is my opportunity. And he decides to leave his body. So this is what happens. And there are dozens and dozens of stories in the Srimad Bhagavatam where you see the instance of Prahlad Maharaj. You read the story of Advaita Acharya. He was literally carrying the Lord in his womb. Mahaprabhu told Haridas Thakur just before he left, he said, "You're absorbed in me, but I want you to know that I am fully absorbed in you." This is when Haridas Thakur says, okay. And Mahaprabhu takes his frail body and dances through the streets of Jagannath Puri, maddened with spiritual love. And his tears of love are falling, were draining out of the eyes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and bathing this body of Haridas Thakur. And he was dancing like a madman. And everyone is seeing the love that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has for his devotees. Everyone's heart was melted in Jagannath Puri, just to see how the Lord loves his devotees. What is the heart of the devotee and what is the heart of the Lord. They're inseparable. And just by observing that, all the residents of Jagannath Puri went into spiritual ecstasy and they all started to chant and dance. So this is what the heart of a devotee is. In the case of Srila Prabhupada, okay, I take 1 more minute, my time is up. In the case of Srila Prabhupada, you can also see, when you read his life, it's quite heart-wrenching to see a 69-year-old man getting on a cargo ship. I mean, it's pretty insane when you think about it. Gets on a cargo ship, shows up. What keeps something going? What's the fire that's burning inside that's keeping him warm and excited? It is this love that he had for Krishna. Radha Damodar is where he was spending his years meditating. Some of you have gone with me to Vrindavan and you saw he had a little window in his room. It's a very small room, maybe 8 by 4 or something like that. A very small place. He would just sit and write and meditate and just pray for the blessings that he could execute the orders of his spiritual master. And every morning at 3 a.m. he would wake up before the Mangalarati and he would sweep the courtyards of Rupa Goswami. And he would cry profusely, howling cries, because he could feel the separation. He could feel the separation from his spiritual master. And the union that you feel with your spiritual master is when you're engaged in service. So when that desire to be united in mission of his spiritual master is what kept Prabhupada alive, and that is what spiritual ecstasy is. When you're able to capture the heart of your spiritual master and live the mission of your spiritual master. So this is what I see in Prabhupada when I meditate on his life. You can see what is in someone's heart through the expressions, how they conduct their lives. We see in the case of Haridas Thakur, Ambarish Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, in the cases of all these great Vaishnava saints, And also in the case of Srila Prabhupada, that he carried his spiritual master in his heart. And that is what a heart of a Vaishnava looks like. A Vaishnava is someone who carries the mission of their spiritual master in their heart. A Vaishnava carries that mission is the form of Krishna. That mission is where all the pastimes are happening. That mission is where this beautiful divine couple, Jugala Kishore, as Narottam Das Thakur sings, Radha Krishna Pranamo Jugala Kishore. Jivane Marana Gati Agnahi. That divine couple is seated in everyone's heart. And that divine couple will reveal its Leela to you when you're burning with this mission of your spiritual master. This mission is a mission directly brought from Goloka Vrindavan. So, as Mahaprabhu Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his songs, that this transcendental ras, this juice of transcendental love, Mahaprabhu had personally brought with him. And that is the mission that we have been given in this lifetime. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila Prabhu ki.
Except for the long rant, we've been 5 minutes already. Does anyone want to add anything?
That's us more in spiritual world than we want to go back to spiritual world. Then why is it such that the spiritual ecstasies are pain-ridden? Like you mentioned about Kunti. Why does she need to undergo so much of tribulations in her life? Why is the ecstasy? Why would Krishna allow that?
Did everyone hear the question? No. Why is Kunti Devi suffering so much? Why is Krishna making her go through so much trials and tribulations?
Very few devotees might be able to appreciate that, but in the journey of going back to the spiritual world or achieving Krishna Bhakti, there are so many other soldiers who might lose out, stating that they are not able to handle that kind of.
Yeah, the spiritual world is not an easy place to go to. You will have to be tested and tried. When I read Kunti Devi's prayers in the Bhagavatam, I don't ever see her asking to go back to Godhead. And that I found was quite fascinating. Like, as a kid I used to pray, Krishna, I want to go to Goloka Vrindavan and I want to play with you. As a kid, that was my, one of my meditations. But when we read the Vaishnava literature, nowhere do we see the Vaishnavas asking Krishna to take him back to Goloka Vrindavan. Very rarely you may find something. I have not found. Even Narottam Das Thakur, when he sings songs, Hari Bol Bo Armadan Mohan, Hari Bol Go, E Rupete Brajer Pathe Chali Go. He's saying, he's not saying, take me to Goloka Vrindavan. I want to be in this form. I want to drown myself in Yamuna while singing Radhe Govinda. I want to, all his deepest aspirations is all right here. So, that is one thing. And the thing is, why do devotees suffer so much? Actually, devotees don't suffer. This is the fact of reality. Suffering is on the material plane. There is no suffering in the spiritual plane. Suffering is within the realm of material existence, subjugated within the boundaries of the material ego. If there is no ego, there is no suffering. As long as there is an ego, there is a false ego, there is suffering. Beyond that, there is no suffering. Because unless ego is activated, karma doesn't work. Karma is not activated. So if there's no karma, where is the suffering? So, devotees, they never suffer. It can be seen. Oh, they're suffering physically, Like you look in the case of so many associates. This famous story in Chaitanya Charitamrita of this sage picking up the worms from the streets and putting it on his body because his body needs to be engaged in service. When I hear this story, I'm like, this is too much. I don't know if this is meant for me. But it's very high level. It's very high level. So, even though there's an apparent observation from our material senses that Kunti Devi is suffering, because our lenses are covered by the illusion of matter, and so we're not able to see beyond it. And so Kunti Devi is not suffering, she is in ecstasy. Haridas Thakur is in ecstasy. Every lip that was placed on his body, he's not feeling anything, not even like a mosquito bite. Because there is spiritual ecstasy. He's in a different world. The body may remain here, but our body will only feel to the extent our consciousness is connected to the body. If our consciousness is not connected to the body, there is no feeling of what's really happening. Prahlad Maharaj's body has been fried in hot oil. Have you ever been fried in a hot oil? You don't know. You can try it when you make the pakoras and put your hand in there and see what happens. You'll feel it. Prahlad Maharaj is not feeling the burning hot sensation of this oil. They put him in the fire. We make bonfires. We were just in Gitanagari farm with about 100 American people doing dancing and chanting, and Ki made this massive bonfire. Immediately I was thinking of Prahlad Maharaj's story. I was like, Prahlad Maharaj was sitting in a fire bigger than this. And if you went even 10 feet close to this fire, you could feel the heat. This massive bonfire. Prahlad Maharaj didn't feel anything. What is he feeling? When Nrsingadeva asks him, what benediction do you want? He's not thinking about himself. That's the last thing on his mind. It was nothing about him. It's like, what about my dad? What about all these people that you have killed? Nrsingadeva said, no, I sent them all back already. Then he was happy. So the heart of a devotee is very... there's so many metaphors. In the Bhagavatam, it says like a lotus flower, it says like an umbrella, it says like the moon, it says like the ocean, it says like Yamuna. It's so many different metaphors are given. What does the heart of a devotee feel like? So we should not see devotees when they're suffering. We should be inquiring about what spiritual ecstasy they're experiencing. They may not share with you, but this is the life of a devotee. That is because the very heart of a devotee is a life of developing this deep, loving relationship. But it looks like they're suffering, and that's why people are afraid to become Krishna Bhaktas, because they're going to become poor, they're going to become miserable, and their life is going to become torturous. I know someone who's trying to get married, and the girl's family won't get him married because he's a devotee of Krishna. That means he's going to be broke, he's going to be miserable. That's not the case. So thank you, Prabhu, for your beautiful question. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I would like to request Divya Agarwal and family to please come. Amit and Radha Priya also to come to perform the mini arati. They are sponsoring the Sunday feast. not here. Okay, so we need some proxies. Nitai Gaura Premanande. The donors are not here, so we'll pray for this. Two people who sponsored the Sunday feast. Can you raise both your hands? We're going to pray for them. Together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have one request. There was an elder in her 90s, her name is Madhuram, and she's in a hospital recovering, and they're seeking the prayers of all the devotees. Can we pray for her? Please raise both your hands. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So just a few announcements we have. This boy is missing his father. Thank you for bringing him. So on the 7th of May is Mohini Ekadashi. And on May the the 10th, we're celebrating Sri Narasimha Chaturdasi. That is the appearance day of Lord Narasimha Dev. Who knows who Narasimha Dev is? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you don't know who Narasimha Dev is. So for the 3 of you, I want to share with you. He's a really cool guy. He comes in the form of a lion, half man, to protect his devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. And on that day is a very auspicious day for seeking protection. Of course, you can pray every day for protection, but on that particular day, he protects your heart and your whole existence from any external or internal intruders into your heart. So it's a very auspicious day. We celebrate it all day. We fast till dusk. Is it dusk or is it called dawn? Dusk. So he appears in the Sandhya. So until his appearance, we are fasting. For those of you who need a good reason to fast, it's more powerful than intermittent fasting. And then in the evening, 4 p.m., we'll have a yajna, big fire ceremony. It's called the Maha Narasimha Homa. And if it doesn't rain, we'll do it outside. We'll make a beautiful, massive bonfire, and we'll chant mantras, and you'll get to offer all your obstacles to him and let him handle it. So it's a very cool celebration. So the next event that we have that's coming up is one of our biggest events. It's called the Rath Yatra and Panihati Mahotsav. Raise your hand if you know what Rath Yatra festival is. Raise your hand if you don't know what this festival is. Okay. So there's a few of you I want to share with you. This is a festival where these beautiful deities on the left, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Devi, you can look at them. You see big eyes and a big smile. You're wondering what that's all about. They have no eyelids, no eyelashes. It's because that's the form of God that we worship, that is always present and always looking over everyone, not even blinking his eye, because he doesn't want to be separated from you. That's the Lord we worship. He doesn't sleep. 24 hours he's awake to give his loving glance and protection. So on this weekend, first weekend in June, which is our biggest festival, this form of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Devi, they go on a stroll through the streets of every single city in the world, practically speaking, every major city in every single country in the world. And this festival was originally started in a place called Jagannath Puri. And there, on the Rath Yatra there, you'll get an average of 4 or 5 million people that go on this parade to see him. So Srila Prabhupada, he was very merciful. He brought Jagannath to all the cities in all the countries practically around the world. So this Rath Yatra is celebrated. It's one of the biggest celebrations of Hindus and just anyone who worships Krishna. So on the first weekend of June, we're going to be taking Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Devi, being escorted by Atlanta PD in their bomb squad. Stretched limousines from this temple, downtown Atlanta, and we're going to chant and dance, and they're going to go around Centennial Olympic Park, just to say hi to everybody. The significance of that is that he wants to meet you more than you want to meet him. And it explains in the Padma Puran that Rathecha Vamanam Drishtva Punar Janma Navidyate, that if you see Lord Jagannath on the chariot, then your life is over. Material life is over. That means you don't have to take birth again and again and again. You can be free from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So that celebration is coming up on the first weekend of June. On Friday, we're going to start with an Adivas ceremony here. On Saturday is the Rath Yatra downtown, starting at noon. And on Sunday, we do another celebration here that is dedicated to the center deities on the altar. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the one on the left of the center altar. That is the festival of mercy. festival of love celebration, and where we cook, I think, over 156 different preparations of chipped rice, and we get nuts and fruits from all over the world, and we make these different recipes. Everyone gets to cook, everyone gets to offer him, and then everyone gets to eat it, honor it. And it explains that when you go to these festivals, that there is a lot of invisible divine beings. They may actually show up, and they may tap you on the shoulder and ask you for some food. That can also happen. So it happens. So a lot of mystical things happen on this property, because this is the oldest Hindu temple in the state of Georgia, established 50 plus years ago. And so there has been non-stop cultivation of this spiritual love, so a lot of mystical and magical things happen with these deities. So that's why you should come for those 2-day festivals, if you want to have a magical and a mystical experience. We're expecting approximately around 3,000 people to attend. You're wondering how they're going to fit in here? Somehow it works out. Somehow everyone fits and everything happens. And we cook for thousands of people, 3 meals a day, and we offer 3 feasts, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it is explained that those that participate in celebrating this festival and serving others, what you're doing is you're booking your ticket to Goloka Vrindavan. So it's a very easy ticket. You don't have to go online, you can just come here and just sign up for your ticket to Goloka Vrindavan. So for this festival, we make a lot of arrangements. I just want to tell you what arrangements we make. There's a group of devotees called the Festival of India. They come with 2 semi-trucks and they bring their tent stages and beautiful museums, and they will set up in the front of the temple. So we hire them to come. They go to all the festivals in North America. And then we get Rath carts hired from Canada. They come, they drive in their semis and they set up the Rath carts in downtown Atlanta. So these are some things that will happen, you'll notice. And there's a huge arrangement for prasadam. We get walking coolers and walking trailer showers and toilets for all of you to make your life very convenient. There will be devotees coming from around the United States to entertain you with spiritual entertainment for your children. And there is an opportunity for each and every one of us to come and participate in this festival, whatever way you want. We will need a lot of people to wash dishes, serve prasadam, to serve others. This temple is your temple, and this is your festival, and we are simply given this opportunity to host thousands of other people that will come and join this festival. So we'll need a lot of support, is basically what I'm saying. Is Lakshman Ram Prabhu here? You want to call him? He's our volunteer coordinator. So we need a lot of volunteers all throughout the day. And we also need a lot of financial support, as you know, that Festival of India charges $13,000 to come with their setup. The chariots, they cost us about $11,000. The trailer showers and toilets, we spend about $8,000. Just the prasadam alone will spend about $11,000. And the setup, the limousines, then we have to pay Atlanta PD, we pay for the permits. There's a lot of expenses that go in putting this festival for everybody. So you will have opportunity, whatever you can do. And please keep in mind that whatever you do for Krishna, He'll multiply it by 1,000 times. Sudama gave Krishna. He didn't give, Krishna took it from him. Just a little handful of burnt rice. Not even good rice, burnt rice. Low quality burnt rice. And Krishna gave him what? Without even asking. You know all the stories. So this is how Krishna functions. So please, I request you to come forward. Our budget for this festival is going to be about $78,000. And somehow Krishna sends people And now it is your opportunity to see if you want to be in the front of the line to serve Krishna and serve the devotees. So Lakshmana Prabhu right there in the kitchen, in front of the kitchen door, there we go. He is going to be cooking 3 meals, 3 feasts a day. So he's going to do a lot of help in the kitchen, a lot of volunteers. So please see him if you want to participate, even 1 hour, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever you can do. Wash some dishes, wash some vegetables, cut some potatoes. Please come and see him for any kind of volunteer. We'll give you more devotees who are going to be helping with this festival, and you can also directly contact them. So far we have approximately raised around $45,000 by calling you, begging you, and asking you to support this festival. And we're not too far behind, we have 1 month, so this opportunity is yours. So far we have Mitali Mataji, she donated 501 for breakfast on Friday. Kathy and ARD, who's that? Okay, she's not here. I saw Kathy yesterday. There's going to be an opportunity for you to do an arati in front of Lord Jagannath in downtown Atlanta. And so that is $1,100 opportunity that will pay for the festival. Edwin and Brothers, they also donated $1,100. Brajeshwari Mataji, she's our local doctor here, she's here somewhere. She donated $551 to get one of the pots of prasadam. She likes to eat prasadam, so she sponsored prasadam. Sujata and Suresh, $751 for Saturday breakfast. Ramesh Patel and family, they sponsored $1,100 for the arati. Vishal Sharma, 1,001 for Friday dinner. Ramanuja Prabhu, 201 for Panihatti pots. So let's raise our hands and acknowledge these devotees, and you get the benefit of their donations as well. So raise your hand together. Hari Bol! Little louder. Little louder. Little louder. Okay, what else do we have? So we have some opportunities for you. You can come and see Shvetashwari Prabhu. He'll be sitting outside. What is left right now? We have the spots. We have 56 times 3. How much is that, everyone? So you see these pots? They're nicely being decorated. They will spend weeks and months decorating these pots. And then these pots will then be filled with offerings that will be put on the altar. It will be offered in your name or your family's name, and then the pots will be given back to you. So the large pot is $351, the medium is $201, and the small is $101. So, anyone is interested in prasadam, who likes to eat? Raise your hand if you like to eat. There we go. Who likes to feed others? Everyone is getting a little scared now. Don't worry, we will still feed you today. Okay, anyone want to sponsor the pots? The large pots, 351. Anyone thinking about it? Who is thinking about it? You're thinking about it, that's good. Now you need to come to the thinking, next stage of meditation. Okay, and then the medium pots, anyone? 201? Okay, and the small pots, 101. Mataji, what is your name?
Shuli.
Oh, Shuli Mataji. Let's give her a big Hari Bol. Okay. Keshav Madhav Prabhu, let's give him a big Hari Bol. That was very unencouraging. Come on guys, let's do a better job. Okay, anyone else? Mataji, what name? You want to put it under your children's name? Manav. Manav Prabhu. Anyone else? Okay. I don't want to keep you here because I'm sure you're very hungry. But I will recommend that you participate in the festival by somehow plugging yourself in one of the different seva opportunities that are available to all of you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Panihati Dham ki jai, Rath Yatra Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Prasadam will be served outside. Please come and have your last darshan.